It's drier, but the wind and the waves have definitely picked up in the last 30 minutes. And now our biggest concern was that flooding. Well, it's here. This morning, a 15-year-old accused of shooting and killing another teenager in Horry County will be tried as an adult. Police are right now searching for suspects after an armed robbery last night in Bennettsville. You can see behind me, this is still an active investigation. And like you said, we don't know much details, but we do know this is a barricaded situation. And I'll step out of the camera just so you can see the scene. Heading out onto the roads now, 6 people were hurt in a 3-car crash this afternoon. In North Carolina, Republican lawmakers say they plan to include college sports when they vote to ban transgender athletes from playing on teams based on their gender identity. This blood is from a woman who police found dead on the ground last night. She was shot to death by a man who barricaded himself in this apartment behind me and eventually killed himself after 3 hours. It's clear down here now. This whole area to the left of me was filled with flood water. I just want to show you just how many people are here protesting against Horry County Council's decision to take away Pride Month. Most of that is cleared up, and now all that's left, if you take a look, are these 5 storage units, U.S. Navy boats loaded up on the back of trucks. Airports across the nation are still canceling a majority of their Southwest flights, including here in Myrtle Beach. Would you pay that much money for some ice cream?
No.
I think, honestly, if I had the money, I would do it. I love ice cream. I love Italy.
Where are you getting this money for this one scoop of ice cream?
Nobody was returning our calls, and her back was really infected.
Amy Dill took her daughter Candace to the Dermatology and Skin Cancer Center of South Carolina in Myrtle Beach because of melanoma concerns after odd-colored moles appeared on her back.
A couple of her moles had been scooped numerous times, which is not typical.
Dill says after Candace went through a few surgeries, they began to notice her internal stitches were causing an infection. She attempted to call the center many times in February, but never received a call back. Later finding out the center closed abruptly on February 17th without any notice to its patients, according to a document provided by the South Carolina Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation, leaving this note on the door that reads, "All appointments today are canceled. Scheduling will call you."
Patients should have had a little bit of a heads up so we could have made prior arrangements for pickup of our own records.
The center was previously owned by Joseph Massessa until his death in a plane crash in 2019. The practice continued to be operated by a family member of Massessa's who was not a licensed physician in South Carolina. And like Beverly Smith, many former patients are concerned.
We're terrified because now I'm like, was the moles that they even removed, were they even precancerous like they said?
I have been cut on. I've had treatments, and now my records are out there that has a history of dating back 20 years.
On Monday, the medical board decided to appoint Dr. Brandon Coakley and his team from the Waccamaw Dermatology as the custodian of those records. They are responsible for returning tens of thousands of records to patients.
People came in and had biopsies, and then the doctor said, "Oh, this is a suspicious spot. We should check it to see if it's cancerous." And then they never got a call back. They couldn't access their records. There was no staff. The phone lines were turned off. So it was a real panic for a lot of patients. 4 hours after the new year, Tanisha Lewis received a call from her sister that her nephew Emmanuel Melvin was shot and killed at the G-Spot nightclub in Longs.
And I was confused and hurt all at the same time.
According to a police report obtained by News 13, Horry County Police responded to a shooting at the club. Upon arrival, officials found Melvin on his back, bleeding from gunshot wounds inside of the business at the entryway. He was breathing at the time, but was pronounced dead at the hospital. 2 others were hurt.
Emmanuel was a remarkable individual.
Melvin's mother, Monica Davis, says he was at the G-Spot to celebrate the new year, a place that has seen its fair share of violence and illegal activity.
We both pretty much grew up in that community.
I lived there.
And its previous name was the Big Apple?
Yeah.
Previous name was the Big Apple. It was trouble then. It's trouble now.
Our past reporting and public records indicate there have been at least 6 shooting incidents at this club since 2006. Documents from 2017 show the 15th Circuit Solicitor's Office tried to get the club shut down for 1 year, and the Horry County Police Department responded to the G-Spot 28 times between 2006 and 2017 for calls involving guns, assaults, and drugs. The court granted the petition, but it was suspended as a part of an agreement with the bar's owners, with several requirements over a period of 2 years, including closing at or before 1 a.m. and having SLED certified guards inside and outside the bar.
The doors need to be shut so that no other family has to endure what we're enduring.
When I tried contacting the owner of the G-Spot, she hung up when I asked if she owned the nightclub, and the second time I was sent to voicemail. Melvin's family says their goal is to get the nightclub shut down.
I'm going to be his voice. It's something that's going to be done.
What in the 1870 Indian boarding school trash is this?
7-year-old Edward Chavez is a first grader at Classical Charter School of America at the Whiteville campus, and 6-year-old Logan LeBoy attends the Leland campus in Brunswick County. Their mothers say their son's long hair is part of their Native American heritage.
Our culture in the Southeast has been extremely strong. We're in a revitalization of that culture. Hair growth is a part of that.
But the family says administrators of the schools do not see it that way.
And to strip that away after so much has been stripped away from tribes in the Southeast.
For the past year and a half, Logan and Edward's hair were kept in a bun or ponytail to comply with the school's requirements of keeping hair off the collar and ears. Chavez says she received a call March 14th that those hairstyles were no longer accepted. LeBoy says school officials told her and other parents the kids' hairstyles were faddish, which means intensely fashionable for a short time. After the school added buns and ponytails to the list, both mothers were told to file a grievance with the school regarding the policy, but it was denied.
And I'm not cutting his hair.
Abby Gate is the mother of 6-year-old Raphael. She says she found out March 8th her son would not be able to return to school.
He said, I'm not going back there. And I said, come on, but it's time for school. He said, no, they said I have to cut my hair.
If they do not receive a favorable response from the school before spring break is over on the 29th, all 3 mothers say they will consider taking their children out of the schools.
Rocking and rolling, we were really thinking it was going to capsize. I mean, it was shocking to see it. I never thought it was going to make it. It looked really bad. The waves were about 10, 15 feet high.
During a live shot, this shrimp boat known as the Shana Michelle washed ashore Friday when Hurricane Ian hit the Grand Strand. The crew was rescued the previous night by the U.S. Coast Guard after experiencing engine failure. The ship has drawn national attention, people from all over the country coming to Myrtle Beach, waiting for the boat to be pushed back into sea, like 5-year-old Chandler Collins from Newport, Tennessee.
I've been in this boat for 2 days.
For 2 days, crews have been working to remove the shrimp boat.
It's been interesting to watch them dig it out. We just didn't know how they were going to do it.
They started digging a trench to the sea Monday, and today 2 large towboats were able to hook themselves to the line that is wrapped around the Shana Michelle and pull it straight back into the water, leaving behind an unforgettable memory for residents and visitors.
I think it just shows the impact of how powerful the storm was. Just the sheer power that it could beach a boat as big as that.
I've lived a long life of addiction, and it gave me a chance to look forward to life.
Amber, who did not want to provide her last name, is a part of the first group of female inmates that were accepted into the Next Steps program at the J. Reuben Long Detention Center. She suffers from drug addiction.
I'm actually glad that I came to jail so that I could actually have opportunity for something that I would have never done on the outside.
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
The program introduces inmates to multiple pathways of recovery, educational opportunities, and community resources, connecting them with mentors who will help them recover from substance abuse, find jobs, and housing once they are released.
The main thing is that we're able to, create a continuity of care from jail to the community, because that's where a lot of people, fall through the cracks. They leave jail and then what?
Dustin Walter is a treatment director at J. Reuben Long Detention Center. It is Walter's personal connection to substance abuse that motivated him to expand the program to female inmates.
So, I lost my son's mother to addiction.
There are currently 36 female inmates in the Next Steps program. The women must request to be a part of the program and complete an assessment, which includes a one-page essay on why they should be accepted.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that it's not hard, because I wake up every day thinking about it. I go to sleep every night thinking about it. But gradually, each day has gotten easier for me.